It's about triangle, so we're going to learn how to find the missing side of the triangle. So there are new formulas that you learn about the non-right angle triangle. So let's write them down. So this is, let me see, yep, that's good. Okay, so area of the triangle is half AB sine C. You should memorize the formula. Sine rule to find the side, you write A over sine A equal to B over sine B equal to C over sine C, like that. And sine rule to find the angle, I put the angle on the top. Sine B over B and sine C over C, like that. Cosine rule to find the side looks like a Pythagoras. A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. Okay, memorize this like I do. Cosine rule to find the angle looks like this, or not like that, sorry. It's cos C equals to A squared plus B squared minus C squared over 2AB. Right, so these are all the results about non-right angle triangle. Okay, and we're going to apply this on these triangles. So we're going to find a missing side or missing angle on these. Okay, let's start with the first question. Which rule do I use? If it's side, angle, side, we use cosine rule. So this is SAS, this is SSS. Everything else, use the sine or cosine. Okay, good. Let's use the cosine rule to work out C. So you start with C squared equals to 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2, 6 times 8 cos 117. C squared, okay? Now you just do that on a calculator and you work out. Okay, so get your calculator out so you can work out some numbers. Alright, need to really buy one, bring one to school each lesson. Okay, so you go 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 8 times 6 times cos 117 equal 143, and then you just square root the answer. So you write C squared equal to 143 point something. What was it? 43.58. And you square root it to find C. So C equals to about square root answer. You get 11.98. 11.98. Alright, cosine rule. Alright, once you get cosine rule ready, what rule would you use for the next triangle? You use Pythagoras because it's a right angle triangle. Right, so you do not use cosine rule for everything. If it's a right angle, you just do it normally, Pythagoras. I think you can just do it by hand because you just get 10. Right? Now, how about the next one? What rule would you use? Is it SAS? Is this SSS? None of this, so it's a sine rule. So you start off with A over sine of 30, right? Opposite to the side A, equals to 11 over sine 104. And then how do I find A? You have to multiply both sides by sine 30, right? You have to make A the subject. And then use your calculator. Calculator will tell you 11 divided by sine 104 close bracket times by sine 30. And what would it be? 5.6, 5.7. 5.7? Okay. Or 5.67. Like that. Good. Alright, how would you do the next question? Think about this. When it's a right angle triangle, you should think about SOHCAHTOA. So remember, use SOHCAHTOA when it's a right angle triangle. So which one are relevant? So you got the A sine, because opposite over hypotenuse. So these formulas are still useful in right angle triangle because they're simpler than the sine rule and the cosine rule. They're not as complicated. So use it whenever you can if it's a right angle triangle. So let's use it. So you get a over 11 equal to sine 34, right? Opposite over hypotenuse is sine of the angle, so a equal to 11 times sine 34. Using your calculator will give you the answer, 11 sine 34. Okay, that gives you 6.15. Yeah. Okay, next one. What rule would you do here? You want to use SOHCAHTOA because it's not a right angle triangle. So which rule? Well, is it SSS? Yeah, it's a sine rule because it's not all three sides given. So started with sine of theta, opposite to 12, equal to sine of 27 over 6, right? And then we're going to go sine theta equal to 12 sine 27 over 6. And then use your calculator. So you do 12 sine 27, close bracket, divide by 6. You get 0.907 dot dot dot. Now remember, this is not the angle. You've got to shift sine to get the answer. So you go shift sine, answer. You get 65.2 degrees. So remember to shift sine. Which is 65.2 degrees. Okay, so the main thing is to know which method to use. So we've seen different methods. I didn't leave a lot of space, so okay, all right, good. So how about the last one? What rule do we use? Last one is cosine because SSS, all three sides given. So let's use the cosine rule. So start off with cos theta. Cos theta, okay. So cos theta equal, okay. Cos theta equals to a squared plus b squared. The one next to the theta is the one you plus. The one you minus is the one opposite to theta. Get it? So that's the easiest way to remember. Of course, you need to have a denominator. 2 times 6 times 8 again. All right. So now just press the button on the calculator to get theta. Okay, remember to do shift cos to get the angle. Okay, all right, we did the first page with all the different triangles you can work out. This is a very important summary page. Make sure you look at it again. Okay, so we've got 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 12 squared over 2 times 6 times 8. Bang. Now, if it's negative, what does that indicate to you? Must be obtuse. Yep. So if you do shift cos this thing, answer, you get an obtuse angle as expected. So 117.3. 117.3. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've been working missing sides and missing angles. Next, we're going to find the area of the triangle and then do some applications to bearings and angles of elevation and depression. Okay, let's move on to the next page. All right, okay, good. Next page is over here. All right, so these are the triangle. Remember, there's another important formula for the area of the triangle is half times base times height. This will be useful if you know what the height is and the base. Yes? So therefore, I will not use the other formula. So I will just go A equal to half times 8 times 6. And that will be, what would this be? That will be 24. Right? And the same thing if the height is outside of the triangle, that's still H, that's still B. You still get the same thing. You get 24. Right? As long as you know the perpendicular height and the base, you get the area. Of course, the triangle, right angle triangle works as well. you also get 24. Now, what if you don't have the height? If you don't have the height, they usually give you the angle in between them. So that's when you use this formula. This one. So you got area is 6 times 8, half, let me write it again. So you got half times 6 times 8, a sine of 117. And you just press the button. So now when to use this formula. So this formula it's not really good for everything except when you have an angle in between the two sides. This will be a formula to use. If you got the perpendicular height, use the half BH will be the easiest. So 21.38 approximately square meters. Okay, good. Now, we've done all this, so now we're going to look at some applications to real-life problems like angle of elevation and depression, as well as bearing problems. So we'll just look at it briefly, what they do. We're not going to solve any problems. I'll leave that to you in your revision. So we need to know what is angle of depression is this angle, angle of elevation is this angle, okay? And we need to know how to measure bearings. It's measured clockwise from the north, right? Clockwise from north. Okay, this is bearings. Then we'll do a simple example on bearings, which is on the top right hand corner. So on this diagram, we can say the bearing of A from B. A from B means you're standing at B. You have to find this angle. Okay, so to find this angle, you need to find the other angle first. So by per interior angle, that is 30 degrees. So therefore, the bearing must be 360 minus 30, which is 330. That's the bearing. All right, how about the bearing of B from A? B from A is 150. So you're standing at A, so it's 150. So note the difference from the word. So when they say from is where you're standing, and from where you're standing, you measure from north clockwise. That's how we measure bearing, from north clockwise. Okay, all right, so now we have to look at special triangles and the theoretical aspect we've been doing for the last few lessons. So remember the special triangles, we've got the 30 degree, this will be 45, root 2, 1, 1, that will be 60, 30, 2, root 3, 1, okay? If you use the triangle, you can fill out this table of values, but you should memorize them like this. You can do it under 10 seconds. It's very easy. That will be 1, 1 on root 3, and root 3, like that. So you should memorize. Let me put a comment. That should be memorized. If you memorize it, it will help you to do work. All right, let me put it on a bigger screen so you can all see. Okay. And then we've got one more page of summary, then done. We'll need to know how to do exact value, how to draw the graph, how to solve equations, okay? Now remember this mnemonics, ASTC stands for, yep. That will help us to know which quadrant is positive, which quadrant is negative. All right, so ASTC means that first quadrant all is positive, second quadrant sine is positive, third quadrant tan is positive, last quadrant only cos is positive. Okay, we'll use that to help us to do the theoretical aspect of this course. Find the exact value of 210, 210. Find the quadrant. It's in the third quadrant. Find the related angle. So you go 210 minus 180, which is 30 degrees. So that tells you that tan 210 degrees equals to tan 30. And it is positive because of ASTC. t is positive in the third quadrant. So that now, and then you need to know the exact value of tan 30. What's tan 30? 1 over root 3. So if you memorize it, it will help you to do this part. Okay. All right, what else do? We will know how to solve simple trigonometric equations. So it gives you the ratio, you have to find the angle. So when is cos negative? Negative in the second or third quadrant. How do I know that? Because in the second quadrant, S is positive, therefore cos is negative. In the third quadrant, tan is positive, therefore cos is negative. The other two is where cos is positive. Okay, so now we need to find the related angle. Make sure you do cos inverse of the positive half. Why do I do the negative half? Because it ends up giving you an obtuse angle. So if I do shift cos negative 1 over 2, it gives you 120 instead of 60. So I want an acute angle. So therefore, I get rid of the negative, 60 degrees. Right, so that means this is 60, this is 60. And then you can work out the actual angle. Theta is 180 minus 60, or 180 plus this related angle. Okay, of course your calculator only gave you the obtuse angle, but not the other reflex angle. That's why you have to find the related angle in order to find the two possible answers to these trigonometric equations. And the final part of the course where you have to learn how to draw the graph. So hopefully remember how to draw the sine graph and the cos graph. Have a try. See, hopefully you remember yesterday, 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. Plot the points and draw them. Okay, good. So you got it. So let's try to do this. Okay, so you got 0 degree, 90, 180, 270, 360. And then you can do the ratios. The ratio will be, how do I know this? So when 0 degrees, the y value is 0, right? The next one, it goes to 90, the y value becomes 1. And then goes back to 180, which is 0 again. And then goes to -1, -1, 0, -1, and then goes back to 0. So you get what we got called the sine graph. Okay? It goes around in circle. As you go around the circle, we trace out a curve like this called the sine graph. You should try out the cos graph. Now, if you don't like to use the circle, you can also press the button on a calculator. For example, let's do it for cos 90, 180, 270, 360. And if you press the button on, so cos 0, it should give you 1. So it gives you 1, right? And then cos 90 gives you 0. You get 0. So you just complete this table using your calculator, plot the points, and remember it's a curve. So you have to draw carefully. It's flat, down, and then down, flat, flat, up, and then flat again. Okay? Right, that's the course. A brief summary, how to find sides, how to find angles, how to solve equation, how to find exact value, how to solve bearing problems, how to solve angle elevation, depression, and graph. So all of this will be in your test, and all of this will be in year 11 and year 12. So if you learn this now, that will make year 11 and 12 easy. All right, so start the chapter review now. Thank you.